facing back towards us, and then walk all the way around again. So we're maximally externally rotated, again, fingers facing backwards. So we're just going to do 2 repeats of this, and we can now start to just load a little bit of weight onto our hands. Generally speaking, wrist injuries are the most common with handstands. We go from not putting any weight onto our hands to putting a lot of weight onto our hands. As long as you warm up, generally speaking, and progress, you know, not 0 to 100, you're going to help mitigate a lot of that risk of injury. So we're just going to walk round to that starting position, and from here, we're going to perform some first knuckle push-ups. So, kneeling position is the easiest. We're just going to press up onto that first knuckle as hard as you can, and lower under control. Try and keep those shoulders over the hands. If you want to make this more intense, you can lean the shoulders further forward when doing it. We're just going to do 10 of these. So again, just going to warm up some of those wrist flexors and get us ready for doing some handstands. So a couple more. And then we're going to move to some wrist push-ups. So for this one, we're going to be working the reverse. We're rolling onto the back of the hands, pulling the fist together to roll back up. We can add a little bit of a push-up, but just for the moment, we're just going to do it with straight arms. So when you're going back onto that fist position, make sure you're pulling yourself back onto the fist by squeezing the hands together. Again, I'm just going to do 10 of these. And then finally, just to finish up, we're just going to do some rocks. So we're going to do ulnar and radial deviation. So again, in that fist position, roll as far forward as you can with the wrists, and then we're going to rock back, bending the elbow slightly. So we're going to do 10 in total. More each way. Hopefully, the wrist should be feeling a little bit more warmed up. Right, the wrists are sorted. We're going to move on to the shoulders. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on our elevation of the shoulders, pushing the shoulders as high as soon as possible. So to this, we're going to start on our knees, hands by our knees, and we're going to try and basically think about pushing the ground as far away from us as we can and getting our hips as high as possible. And we're going to end up in a pike position. So the more weight you have on your feet, the easier it's going to be. The more weight you have on the hands, the harder it's going to be. It doesn't need to be really hard, it's just a warm-up for the moment. The focus is trying to push as far away from you as you can and really try to squeeze your ears with your shoulders. So we're just going to do 5 of these with a couple of seconds pause at the top. That's the last one. So it should be feeling a bit more warm now. For those of us who have slightly tighter shoulders, or just want to understand of what a good handstand feels like in terms of shoulder line, we're going to do a couple of body line drills quickly on the floor before we get into some actual handstands. So we're going to start off with a prone position on the floor. So you're going to start lying down. What we're going to do in this position is we're going to come up onto our fingertips. And we're going to try and think about how our handstand should be in a straight line. So what we're going to try and do is you're going to try and lift your stomach off the ground. So we create a slight hollow of the body and look between your hands, just like you would in handstand. We're just going to hold this position for 20 seconds. This is an active position. So you're actively bracing the core and pull it in. Get a feeling of what straight feels like. Pressing down through the fingers as well. And then we can relax. We can now grab the hands together, curl the hands up, and we're just going to go into a prone butcher's block. So tuck the hands behind the head. Same thing again. Try to pull the belly button in, push the shoulders down towards the ground. We should be feeling a stretch in the triceps and then the lat. We're just going to hold this one for 30 seconds. Again, pull that belly button up, try to hollow out slightly. Right, so hopefully our shoulder position should be feeling a little bit better. If you've got particularly tight shoulders, you may want to take some time to do those 2 drills for another 2 or 3 times, just to make sure this position feels open. But now we can jump into handstand. So this is when the wall comes into play. We're going to do a couple of chest to wall warm-up sets. So we're just going to walk up to the wall, focus on the same shoulder position, pushing nice and tall. That same body line position, tucking the pelvis under, trying to have a slightly hollowed body. 20 seconds and come back down. You can get into the wall however you want, cartwheel on, walk up, whatever works. Just make sure you get into that chest to wall position. So we want to come pretty close to the wall. We want to still be slightly away from the wall so we give ourselves some room. But we're just going to focus on pushing here, pushing nice and tall, push the hips towards the wall, and squeeze those ears with your shoulders. Keep holding. Another 5 seconds or so. And come down. So as our first warm-up hold, we've got body on the wall, so the wall gives us a little bit of reference in terms of where straight is going to feel like. We're going to warm up to doing some balance sets over the next 2 or 3 sets. So the next one, this time, we were, say, 4 or 5 inches away from the wall, 10 centimeters, something like that. This time, we're going to go a little bit further out from the wall, and we're going to focus on feeling like our feet are very, very light on the wall. Somebody should be able to come up, pick your feet off, and they can pick your feet off quite comfortably. If you have loads of weight in the wall, then you need to adjust where that center is and get it more over the hands. So we're just going to take another sort of 20 seconds of rest, and do another set of that, and then we're going to do some balancing. So again, chest to wall, we can get into this however we want to get into this. Go now from that 10 centimeters to maybe closer to 15, 20 centimeters away. So here, I should feel like my feet are pretty light on the wall. Same position though, push hips towards the wall, push up nice and tall, and just get that feeling that most of the weight is in my hands. So my feet are proper light on the wall. Right. Okay, so depending on where you're at with your balance, it's going to vary where you are with the exercise. We're going to do a few different sets now, back to back, and you need to choose what's going to be appropriate for you. If you can balance, if you're doing some wall handstands, you're getting 5-10 seconds wherever you are, great. Stick to the drills I'm going to do. If you're not quite at that point, you can just do the chest to wall drills just like we were doing, but getting that sensation of feeling light on the wall. So I'm just going to take another 20 seconds rest, and then we can jump into the first drill. Right. So here, for the first drill, we're going to do split legs. So whereas both our legs were now on the wall, we're going to take one leg off. That's going to bring a little bit more weight from behind our hands to then over our hands, and then that way we can hopefully find a little bit of balance off the wall as much as we can. Try not to fall over. That's the main thing. Try to always fall back onto the wall. But if we can do now, we're looking to try and get a few glimpses of balance. So again, kick up, chest to wall, however you want to. Push up nice and tall, same good shoulder position. Bring one leg off. And we're not going to push with this foot. We're just going to feel the weight drift us off the wall. If you feel like you're going to fall too far this way, squeeze the fingers really hard, push yourself back into the wall.
So again, we're going to try and just spend 20 seconds here trying to balance.
So handstands is all about time. We're only going to do a short session today. This is a beginner workout. It's about getting things started. But the more you get into handstands, the more you train it, the best way to progress is about spending more time bouncing. The best way to do that is to do more and more sets. So if today isn't enough for you, just pause the video and carry on going. We're going to rest another 30 seconds or so. Or just as you feel is needed. If you're feeling tired, it's going to affect your balance. There's no point. The main thing is making the most out of the session. That's why we use the wall. If we're just kicking up in the middle and we're sort of like trying to catch a second or the seconds, that added up over a session is not actually going to be very much at all. If we can use the wall, we can get 5, 10 good seconds of balance. Progress is going to happen that much quicker. So the next drill we're going to do is going to require a bit of a kick up. It's going to be essentially the same drill, but instead of chest to wall, we're going to do back to wall. We're going to stick with the same split leg position to try and get some balance. And then all we're going to do is we're going to gently squeeze our fingers. That's going to give us a little bit of balance off the wall. Try and hold it as much as you can freestanding. And again, if you're going to fall, try to fall back onto the wall. Go for about a total of 10 to 20 seconds or so, actually upside down on your hands, trying to balance as much of that time as possible. If you're not quite comfortable yet with the kick up, then you can just do another repeat of the chest to wall single leg drill that we just did.
So we're going to find that single leg position. Same position with the shoulders and the hips, a single leg. Gently we're going to squeeze our fingers, we're going to bring some weight off the wall, and we're going to try and find that balancing point. Don't be in a rush to bring the feet together, but once you feel comfortable, if you find your balance, feel free to bring them together. Again, we're going to hold as long as possible, 10, 20 seconds in this balanced position, and then come back to hold.
If you can hold for longer, absolutely hold for longer, that's fine. But again, it's about time. Try not to, during that set, fall down, kick out multiple times. Again, we're going to take a little bit more rest this time. It's about quality, not quantity. And we're going to do another set. We're just going to go back and forth between that toe pull set and the back to wall set. I wasn't expecting it to be this tired from handstands. Right, so as I said, we're going to do one more set of each of those drills. So we're going to do 4 sets of balancing in total. With the warm-up set, there's 5 sets. It's not a huge amount of volume for a handstand session, but this is a good way to get started. Maybe over the weeks, over the coming sessions, try to add another set as you go and build that up slowly. You know, anywhere from 10 to 20, maybe even more sets is a good amount for a handstand session. But don't go from 0 to 100 because that